Well friends, today we wish to discuss about the actual usage of the digital level. So I hope already you have gone through the introductory video that I presented for your perusal. So whenever we go for the field work, you will be carrying this digital level in such kind of the carrying case. Now you can see the entire material is soft, equipment is totally packed. Even if it is transported, it doesn't receive any kind of the shocks. Here the case as such is quite sturdy. Here it can be locked as well. The way you see, it is provided with some additional accessories like Allen key, plumb bob, some charging cables, data transfer cables, and all such things you can make use of for the beneficial use of this particular. Now I have set this tripod. Now you can see the tripod is telescopic in nature. You can adjust this according to your convenient height. Keep the equipment on the base plate, which is made approximately horizontal. Make use of the clamping screw and accordingly you clamp the equipment. Now here centrally there is a provision to attach the plumb bob as such. If you are going for the permanent adjustment, you are already conversant with the two-peg test. So here under such circumstances you can go for the centering of the equipment. Otherwise we will be setting the equipment in such a manner that whatever the area that we wish to survey, it would be surveyed. Now as far as the constructional aspects are concerned, already we have discussed a few. Here this is the base plate of the equipment. What you see here is a leveling screw. This is graduated circle. It can be used in order to measure the angle. Here this is the main body of the digital level. Here what you see is the port which is meant for inserting the batteries. So here you can just press this and accordingly it will be getting locked. In addition, for some of the version you'll be having some USB ports so that certain data can be transferred to the equipment or certain data can be say transported for the equipment. So for example, here if you wish to download the data, you can make use of that downloading cable as such. Here this is the digital display of the equipment. This is the eyepiece. This is a object glass. This is focusing screw and this is the tangential screw. So when the equipment is set, first thing that you have to do is level the equipment. So in order to level the equipment, here you have the pond level. So the way we level the equipment conventionally for dumpy level by bringing the longitudinal level tube parallel to 2 foot screws is not required here. Just we can see the position of the bubble. Keep the base plate horizontal. See that the telescope is approximately horizontal. See the position of the bubble. Now the bubble is away from me. So just I'll be going for opposite screw. So here bubble will be slowly getting in. So here now you can see here it is within the circle that is provided for the reference. So when the bubble is brought at its center, now here we can say that the line of sight is horizontal and we can proceed with the leveling operations. So in order to proceed with the leveling operations, now the first thing that we have to do is focus the eyepiece. First thing that we have to do is focus the eyepiece. As you focus the eyepiece, the reticule, that is the position of the vertical hair and the position of the horizontal hair, should be clearly and distinctly seen. So already you are conversant with the markings of the vertical hair as well as the horizontal hair. So according to the manufacturer, according to the type of the equipment, the reticle pattern could be different, but it should be sharply and distinctly seen. That is what our requirement is. So now the equipment is ready to take the reading. So at this instant, now here just we can switch on the equipment, that is press the green button as the green button is pressed, here the digital display will be illuminated, and accordingly you will come across what is the version of that particular level, and accordingly here you can proceed with. Now here before actually working with the equipment, let's get say conversant introduced with this interface. So it is telling us about the horizontal distance measurement. This is telling us about the vertical distance measurement. Here, as we discussed in our earlier video, here the same key can be used when you are in mode of say menu in order to move up. Here, as you see, this key is meant for determination of the difference in elevation. This is the basic key in order to start with the elevation measurement. The second function of this key when you are in menu mode is to move the cursor down. This key is meant for the illuminating the display. So here just we can illuminate this by pressing. So here the backlight would be lit and you will be seeing the graduation pattern in the better manner. This is the menu. So in this menu there are many options. The second function that you can see here is nothing but the say enter key as such. Stop for a while. Okay, so before going our actual usage of the digital level, let's go for the kind of the staffs that we use. Here this is our conventional staff that you could have used. The main graduations are through the 10 centimeters. Here each of the divisions measures 5 millimeter. So here this white patch is of 5 millimeter, whereas this black strip is of 5 millimeters. So accordingly here say this reading is 1.650 and accordingly you know about this. Now same thing here you can measure even up to millimeter accuracy. So for conventional equipment and even for the digital level, you can make use of ordinary pattern of this stuff as well as even the millimeter pattern, because this kind of the equipment has got the measurement precision of 1 millimeter. So here you know about that and hence we can go for measurement of this. But in order to make the true capability use of this digital equipment, what we make use of is nothing but this barcoded stuff. So this barcoded stuff, as you see, there are various alternative strips measured through some colored bands, white and black. So whenever we set the equipment, we carry out the temporary adjustment, and accordingly the way just demonstrated, as we focus the telescope towards this top, the illumination system of the equipment will read the portion of this code. So as this portion of the code is read, this will give us the elevation after determination of the HI of the equipment through the microprocessor, and the scale of this particular pattern will give you the distance in between the equipment and this stuff. In the similar manner, there could be some other pattern of the graduations. Here what you see is some different part. So say here up to here it is 0.4, up to here it is 0.5. It is separated through these particular white strips as well as these orange strips. Here the width is of 1 centimeter. So here this E pattern like thing will give us division separated through 5 centimeters. So accordingly here you can go for this, say up to here it would be 0.45, and here the top will read as 0.50. So essentially with the digital level we can make use of conventional stuff as well as barcoded stuff according to the best capability that you wish to use. In order to make use of the digital characteristic of that equipment, we have to go for the. So just we saw that in order to make the use of best functionality of the equipment, we have to make use of the barcoded stuff. So now I have set the equipment. Here you can see the position of the bubble is at the center. Okay, that means the equipment is leveled. The equipment is set in such a manner that I am comfortable with this height. So here you can set it according to the requirement. And now here press this green key. So as you press this green key, here you can see the brand and as well as even the say opening screen as such. Here on the left side what you see is mode. On the right side you see certain icons. First you are quite familiar with, it means saving. Second, what you see is upright position of the stop. Second is the battery life. So here you can see now the battery is almost full. It is signifying the point ID, vertical distance and the horizontal distance. The units that I have chosen in meters, hence this display is showing. Just we discussed about this particular interface. Now let's try to understand the menu of it. Here you can see first menu is input point ID. So now the equipment is set. I wish to set my benchmark. Hence I have to enter into menu. I have to go for input point ID. So as I enter here, it will be telling me about the enter point number. So here you can see the point ID that I have is BM9. So here say this B is acceptable, M is acceptable. So BM stands for benchmark. Now here I wish to change this. So accordingly here say I can go for say BM8, say BM7 as a reference ID of the benchmark that I am referring to. So I'll be going for say enter. So that point ID is set as BM7 because it is my first. Now second thing what I have to do is I have to set the RL of it. So here you can see now that particular say reference RL, earlier one is 500. I wish to make it as 600. So here it is acceptable to me. So I will just key in. So here it asks for change in RL. Are you sure? Here this is what I have fed. So it is acceptable. So here what you see is that particular say BM7 and it is giving us that RL of 600. Now it is telling me to measure the reference. So at this point what I have to do is I have to cite the position of the stop which is meant for the benchmark and I will press this red key in order to have that particular measurement done. So as it happens here the equipment will be getting set with reference ID of that benchmark having RL 600 meters and as I do so here just I can come out of it and I can cite the point of which the RL is to be determined. So as I cite that point and as I measure that trigger key, it will be recording its RL. So this is about the procedure as far as use of the digital level is concerned. Now the third menu that you see here is data manager. So whatever that particular data that is available in the memory of the equipment, say for example, let's switch on it. Here you can see through the data manager, view data, download data, as well as delete all data. So say this is the first sub menu. So here enter. So here it is telling me that there are some 136 points, point ID and RLs and all that I can see. And accordingly here each of the details pertaining to that particular points can be seen as. So as I come out of it, the next thing I can go for the download data. So here we saw about the cable. So it can be connected through the USB port. Here if it has got certain say Bluetooth functionality, the data can be downloaded and you are much conversant with that kind of the procedure. Here if we wish to vacate or empty certain spaces, we can delete the data here and accordingly here we can just rearrange the files that we are in need of. Okay, so here if you wish to delete, now here it is asking me that are you sure? So I was sure about it and hence the data is deleted. So this is the way that we work as far as this thing is correct. So here, let's come out of it. So menu, it was a data manager. Next thing is recording. This is very important function C. Recording is telling us about the memory of and external. What does it mean? Memory means the data will be stored on the memory within the memory of this particular equipment. Memory of means data won't be recorded, but it will be simply seen. Whereas the third option, as you see, third option is external. So here you can have some kind of the data logger, you can have your laptop, you can have some tab or any such kind of the tool that you want to use. So in that, data can be transferred as such. Whenever you are actually using this kind of the equipment, see that the memory will be on, because even if the equipment is accidentally made off, the data won't be lost. Okay, so that's why you see that this. But as I tried to say, you are already knowing about this particular measuring key. So if this measuring key is pressed, say for 3 seconds continuously, it will be entering into tracking mode. So here at that time, you will be able to see all the data in the form of distance as well as even the okay. So next menu, what you see here is adjustment. So you are already conversant with our axial relationship required for any conventional level. There is a line of sight, there is an axis of bubble tube, there is a vertical axis, and we know what is the requirement of the relationship among that axis. As far as this digital level is concerned, the occurrence of the optical error, the occurrence of the electronic error is possible, as we discussed previously. For this particular equipment, the electronic error as well as the probable involvement of the error because of the curvature of the earth as well as the refraction of the earth, refraction will be getting automatically compensated. But for the adjustment as such, for the optical error, you can enter into this program. So here you can see there are certain 4 steps, so that out of that particular 4 steps, you can just perform serially, and you can have the adjustment done through the line of sight, and hence you can adjust the error because of the collimation as such. The next menu that you see is inverse stop. So here on the right side, as I tried to show you, the central part one is the stop. Here it indicates the position of the stop is upright, whereas sometimes when the positions that we wish to deal with are above the line of sight, we have to keep the stop in the inverted manner. So for that, just you can go for the inverse stop and enter that. It will tell us on, off. So here off being stop is upright, on being stop is inverted. So here the calculation would be made the way you know that stop reading that is read would be treated to be negative, and accordingly it will compute the RL accordingly. But here conventionally we deal with the upright stop, so better to keep it off unless there is a sheer requirement of having the stop in the inverted manner. So the next is contrast. Here you can see the screen is bit blurred, so there is option to have it changed through this cursor key up and down. So according to your requirement, as you do, come out of it. Next menu is units. So here as you enter into units, you can see here there is a meter, there is an international foot, there is a US feet, even feet which is incremented through 1/8 of it. So here we deal with meters, so go for meter, okay, enter it, so you'll get into this. So menu, this is about the units. Here whenever the equipment is not operative, it will be automatically off. So it is telling us about the some time span, so it will be remaining on for 15 minutes. If within that duration, if it is not operated, it will be automatically off. As you switch it on, you can start from the previous screen as such. If you adjust it to off, that means equipment will be continuously off, but better to keep it for some off after 15 minutes, because here you will be able to save the battery through that. Okay, so here menu auto off. Next is rounding. It is telling us about the standard measure and precise measure. I told you about what is the difference in about the standard measure and precise measure. In standard measure, we can measure the height up to 1 millimeter and measure the distance up to centimeter accuracy. Whereas here for the precise mode, here we can go for 0.1 millimeter as far as the elevation is concerned. As far as the distance measurement is concerned, we can go for the 1 centimeter. There could be a certain size slight change with the instrument manufacturer, but these are the menus that are provided. So rounding. Now here this beep means, now here just you can see, you can keep it on, you can keep it off. So here whatever that particular beeping noise that you are getting can be seen and experienced through this particular menu. So let's come out of it. Next is RS232. So it is telling us about this specific model, and it is telling us about the port it has. So here whenever we wish to go for some baud rate, parity, stop bit, data bit, etc. So these are essentially meant for the data communication from the equipment to PC and such. So here just to get acquainted, this baud rate is related with the speed with which we can have the data communicated to the means. The parity is telling us about the correction of that particular set data being transferred. This bit rate is telling us about the value of the data being sent through second and all that. We are not expected much to do as far as this thing is concerned. Better to go for the values which are in provided with the equipment in the default manner, or otherwise here you can go for the some printed manual or the user guide, which is even available on the website, and accordingly you can make use of this equipment conveniently. So just to summarize, get accustomed with the menu. If it is understood, you can easily deal with the equipment. Setting of the equipment, I think, should be clear. Mounting the equipment should be clear. Leveling of the equipment should be clear. Making the line of sight thereby should be clear. Use of measuring key should be clear. Initially, go for delta H key. As you press the delta H key, it will be entering into elevation measurement mode. It will be asking about the reference ID. Direct your telescope towards the staff that you are dealing with. Press the measuring key. It will record the benchmark with the value that you will be giving through the menu input RL. As you do so, the next it will be giving you is shoot the target or sight the target. So anywhere you wish to determine the RL, sight it, press the key, it will be giving you RL as well as the distance. Now the last step. Having read all the stops, say I wish to shift the position of the equipment from this position to next position. Say I have kept the staff at that angle, vertical angle that you see. So I will be shifting the equipment at the convenient position. You know, it is nothing but the change point. As I keep the equipment, mount it, do the temporary adjustment, bring the equipment in the working mode. Now we have to resight our leveling work. We have to restart our leveling work from the end point where we had taken our foresight. So the way we started with the benchmark, again give the reference ID as CP1. Whatever the RL that you had determined for that point, you enter that RL by making use of input RL. Okay, now the way you perform the initial step for the benchmark, it will be done, and from that point onward you can continue with the usage. So these steps are more or less similar. I hope it is clear. In addition, I am requesting you to see some of the videos that are available on the YouTube channel. As well, some supportive material can be read, okay, and thereby you will be able to have the mastery on the usage of the CC codepad. Okay, as it is done, download the data, so comma separated value format you will be having, and whatever the say further working that you wish to work on, that can be done. So manual intervention is less, accuracy precision is very high. Okay, you can do the so. So thank you friends. I welcome you for my next sessions. Thank you.